I'm the national coordinator of the A.N.S.W.E.R coalition. That stands for Act Now to Stop War and to End Racism. We are the organization that, along with others, have organized some of the biggest protests in Washington, D.C. and around the country to protest the Iraq War, bringing hundreds of thousands, millions of people over the last few years. We've also made the connection between the Bush foreign policy in the Middle East, using every and all extraordinary measures to carry out regime change against sovereign countries, with the policy pursued by this administration and earlier administration against the people of Cuba and against the Cuban government. We consider the Iraq War to be an exercise in state terrorism. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqis are dead. Most Americans know about that, but what is less known is that since 1959, as a consequence of U.S.-supported and organized, and in many cases CIA-led operations using tactics of terrorism, more than 3,500 Cubans have died. Luis Posada Carriles, who was involved, along with Orlando Bosch, and financed by the terrorist Santiago Alvarez, who is in prison today, was involved in numerous military actions against the people of Cuba, including the October 6, 1976 bombing of a civilian airliner that took the lives of 73 human beings. And we're going to talk about that today. And the organization of bombs at hotels in Cuba in 1997 that led to deaths and injury and property destruction. And today, Luis Posada Carriles, having been smuggled into the United States illegally after being prematurely released from prison in Panama, brought here by Santiago Alvarez, walks as a free man, given safe harbor by the Bush administration. Posada Carriles said even on May 2nd in Miami that the Cuban right-wing CIA-backed terrorists must sharpen their machetes against the Cuban government. A thinly veiled euphemism, because they're not using machetes, they're using bombs planted on planes and planted in the lobbies of hotel rooms. In the last 2 years, the A.N.S.W.E.R coalition initiated a campaign which has additional new vigor in the last weeks as the Bush administration uses Posada Carriles and Santiago Alvarez and other methods to subvert and carry out illegal actions against the Cuban people. More than 70,000 Americans have sent letters demanding that Luis Posada Carriles be extradited to Venezuela to stand trial for his crimes, rather than being given safe harbor. Remember George Bush's own words: those who harbor a terrorist are guilty of terrorism. By his own hypocritical definition, George Bush stands not only accused but convicted of engaged terrorism against the Cuban people. This campaign will gather momentum in the coming weeks. We intend to make this a big public issue in the United States on the eve of the 2008 election. It's time to end terrorist attacks against the people of Cuba, thinly veiled under the name of democracy and freedom and human rights, and engage the people of Cuba as neighbors who have the right to determine their own destiny and maintain their own revolution, which has given the people there so much.